Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we are talking about something that controls more people than fear, laziness, or even sadness. That thing is anger. I want to be very honest with you. All of us feel angry at times. We get angry at people, at problems, and sometimes at life itself. Sometimes anger comes out suddenly and loudly. Other times, it stays quiet inside us and slowly destroys our peace without showing on our face. But in every case, anger causes harm. It takes away our energy, damages our relationships, affects our health, and most importantly, it blocks our ability to think clearly. Anger is like drinking poison and expecting other people to suffer. When you are angry, you say things you do not really mean. You hurt people you care about. You lose trust, lose focus, and destroy your own peace. And when the anger is finally gone, you often sit quietly with regret. So the real question is this: can you actually stop getting angry? Can you train your brain to stay calm in any situation? The answer is yes, but only if you understand how anger works and how to replace it with something stronger, which is emotional control. This video is very important because it is not only about anger. It is about freedom. When you learn to control your anger, you become someone that no one can easily control, insult, manipulate, or disturb. You become strong, not by fighting others, but by rising above situations. In this video, I will teach you how to do that step by step. There will be no unnecessary talk, no fake tips, and no confusing ideas. These are real and powerful psychological steps that actually work. So stay with me until the very end. This lesson might become one of the most important lessons of your life. And while you listen, you will also improve your English thinking, speaking, and emotional vocabulary step by step. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, and let us grow together. Now let us start with step 1, which is the foundation of everything. You must understand that anger is your choice. If you do not understand this, nothing else will work. Let me ask you a question. When someone insults you and you get angry, what do you usually say? You might say, "They made me angry, they made me lose control," or "they crossed the line." But here is the truth. No one can make you angry without your permission. Anger is not a virus. It does not infect you. It is not something people throw at you and it sticks. Anger is a decision you make. Yes, a situation may trigger you. Yes, a person may be rude. But what happens after that moment is still your choice. Yes, life can feel unfair. People can be rude, disrespectful, or cruel. But what happens after that moment is the most important part. That burning feeling inside you, that rush to react, that explosion of emotion, this is 100% your choice. Let me explain this clearly with a simple example. Imagine two people standing in the same room. A third person walks in and says something rude like, "You are so useless. You will never achieve anything." The first person reacts instantly. They shout back, "Who do you think you are? Don't talk to me like that. I'll show you who's useless." Their voice rises. Their heart races. They feel insulted, angry, and out of control. Now look at the second person. They hear the same insult. But instead of exploding, they take a deep breath. They stay calm. They smile slightly and say, "Interesting. Thank you for sharing your opinion." Same words. Same insult. But a completely different reaction. So what changed? The situation did not change. The words did not change. The only thing that changed was the mindset. The first person handed the remote control of their emotions to someone else. The second person kept that remote in their own hands. Now be honest with yourself. How many times in your life have you said something in anger that you later regretted? How many times have you broken something, hurt someone you loved, or cried alone after losing control? How many times has one bad comment destroyed your entire day? All of that came from one decision, to let someone else decide how you feel. And this is exactly what we must stop, because this is emotional slavery. Whenever something triggers you, remind yourself of this sentence: I can feel the heat, but I do not have to become the fire. You are allowed to feel hurt. You are allowed to feel uncomfortable. But you are not required to respond with rage. You are not an animal that reacts without thinking. You are a human being. You have the power to pause, to think, to choose, and to rise above the moment. The moment your mind truly understands that you are not a slave to triggers, that your emotional reaction is a choice and not a command, that is the moment you become free. True emotional strength is not about holding your anger inside until one day you explode. Real strength comes from understanding one simple truth: anger is optional, and you do not have to choose it. From today, start observing your thoughts when anger appears. Do not judge yourself. Just pause and ask a simple question: am I choosing anger right now? Is this really how I want to respond? What would happen if I chose peace instead? At first, your brain will resist. It will say, but they deserve my anger. Let the mind talk. Do not argue with it. Let the storm pass, and then decide calmly. Remember, you are not fighting with them. You are training yourself. And the more you practice this inner shift, the weaker anger becomes and the stronger you become. Now let us move to step 2, pause before you react. This is extremely important. Anger is fast, but peace is slow. When something triggers you, your mind wants immediate action. It wants to shout, defend, argue, fight, or prove a point. But the moment you react too quickly, you lose your power. Most people do not understand this. Anger itself is not the biggest problem. The real damage happens because people act on anger too fast. This is the difference between a wise person and a weak one. Let us understand what happens in the first few seconds of anger. Someone insults you. Your brain feels attacked. It sends a signal: defend yourself, respond now, say something. Your mouth opens. Your voice becomes sharp. You say words that feel right in that moment but become painful regrets later. Those first 10 seconds decide everything. They decide whether a friendship breaks, whether a marriage suffers, whether a job is lost, or whether your self-respect is damaged. That is why learning to pause is a life skill. Here is a powerful truth: your first reaction is your lowest self. Your second thought is your wiser self. The problem is that most people never wait long enough to hear the second thought. So every time you feel anger rising, practice this simple method. Close your mouth. Do not say a single word. Silence is your armor. Look away or step away. If possible, leave the room or go outside. Changing your location breaks the anger cycle. Then count backward in your mind: 10, 9, 8, 7. Slowly and calmly. With each number, take one deep breath. By the time you reach 0, your heart rate will slow down, your mind will clear, and the fire inside you will begin to fade. Imagine your partner says something disrespectful. Your blood starts boiling. Your hands tighten. You are about to shout. But instead, you pause. You step outside. You walk silently for 1 minute. Then you return and say, "That hurt me, but I want to talk about it calmly." In that moment, you did not lose power. You gained it. You protected your relationship. That is real strength. Not shouting. Not winning an argument. But choosing your response. Not giving in right away is not weakness. It is wisdom. Why does this pause work so powerfully? Because anger is like a wave. It rises fast, it feels strong, and it looks dangerous, but it is temporary. If you do not react to the wave, it passes on its own. But if you try to fight while the wave is crashing, you drown. The pause is your surfboard. It allows you to ride the emotion instead of being controlled by it. This is why you must start practicing emotional delay in your daily life. When something offends you, delay your reaction. When someone criticizes you, delay your reply. When you feel heat rising in your chest, delay your voice. This delay is not weakness. It is training. It is transformation. Every time you delay anger, you weaken its power. And every time you pause, you strengthen yourself. If you can learn to pause for just 10 seconds before reacting, you protect your health, your peace, your energy, your respect, and your future. Some words, once spoken in anger, can never be taken back. But a pause can save you from a lifetime of regret. Now let us move to step 3, breathe the fire out. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful tools of emotional control you will ever learn, your breath. When you are angry, notice what happens in your body. Your chest tightens. Your breathing becomes fast and shallow. Your voice rises. Your muscles tense. Your brain goes into panic mode. This is not only an emotional problem. This is a physical reaction. And that means the solution is not always in thinking. Sometimes the fastest solution is in the body. Your breath is directly connected to your nervous system. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you send a clear message to your brain: we are safe, we are calm, there is no danger. And your brain believes it. Your heart rate slows down. Your blood pressure drops. Stress hormones reduce. Mental noise fades. You literally change your emotional state with air. Here is a simple and powerful technique called the 4-4-8 breathing method. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Let the breath go deep into your stomach, not just your chest. Hold that breath for 4 seconds. This builds control and stability. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Release everything gently. Repeat this for 3 to 5 rounds. That is all. It feels like a cold shower for your brain. Calm replaces chaos. Imagine you are in traffic. Someone suddenly cuts in front of you. Your first thought is anger. Your body reacts. You want to shout. But instead, you pause and breathe. You save yourself, not just from road rage, but from an emotional chain reaction that could ruin your entire day. Do not use breathing only during anger. Make it a daily habit. 2 minutes in the morning. 2 minutes before sleep. 1 minute before difficult conversations. This builds emotional muscle. Just like the gym strengthens your body, calm breathing strengthens your mind. You do not need magic. You do not need pills. You do not need to escape life. Sometimes you just need to stop and breathe, Fire dies when there is no air to feed it. And when your breath becomes your tool, anger becomes your student. Now let us move to step 4, practice the art of letting go. Let me start step 4 by asking you something honest. Why do you get so angry? Think about it. You might say, because they disrespected me, or because I've had enough, or because no one understands me. But the real reason is much deeper than that. Most of the time, you are not angry at the present moment. You are carrying the past. You did not just explode today. You have been holding silent pain for years, and today it overflowed. Anger is not a reaction. It is a build-up. You are angry because you never let go of what your parents said 10 years ago. The betrayal of a friend. The rejection that broke your confidence. The failure you still blame yourself for. The expectations that crushed your spirit. You kept all of it inside. And then one day, someone says something small, and boom, everything explodes. But ask yourself honestly, was it really about them, or was it about what you never healed? Understand this clearly. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means freeing your energy. When you do not let go, you reopen the same wound every single day. You get angry at people who did not even hurt you. You create pain in moments that should have been peaceful. It is like carrying a bag of burning coal and blaming others when your hands burn. The fire is not outside. It is what you are refusing to release. Letting go means you forgive, not because they were right, but because you are tired of carrying poison. You stop replaying old stories in your head. You stop trying to win a war that ended years ago. You accept what happened, and you choose to move forward. Here is how to start letting go, practically and safely. First, write it down. Write the names. Write the events. Write the betrayals, the failures, the memories you are still holding inside. Get them out of your head and onto paper. Second, say it aloud to yourself. Say this sentence clearly, I am no longer carrying this pain. It has lived inside me long enough. It does not belong to my future. Third, release it symbolically. If it is safe, burn the paper. Or tear it. Or delete the file. This action sends a powerful signal to your brain, this is no longer part of who I am. Fourth, when anger rises again, and it will, remind yourself calmly, I have already let this go. I will not relive what I have already survived. Letting go does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise enough to protect your energy. What happened to you was real. But holding on to it forever is not healing. It is self-harm. So from today, stop collecting anger. Stop saving insults. Stop replaying betrayal. Let it go. And you will feel the world become lighter, your heart slower, and your anger quieter. Now let us move to step 5, practice gratitude daily. This may sound simple, but do not underestimate it. Gratitude is the quiet killer of anger. Why? Because your brain cannot feel deep gratitude and deep anger at the same time. One emotion always wins. And if you train your brain to live in gratitude, anger slowly loses its power. The human mind naturally focuses on what is missing. What went wrong? Who disrespected you? What is unfair? What you have not achieved yet? And when your mind is full of lack, it becomes full of anger. But when you shift your focus to what is present, what is working, what is still good, something powerful changes inside you. Gratitude grounds you. It softens the mind. It reminds you that life is bigger than one insult, one bad moment, or one painful memory. And the more you practice gratitude, the less space anger has to live inside you. Gratitude does 3 powerful things instantly. First, it shifts your focus from what is wrong to what is still right. Anger narrows your vision. Gratitude widens it. When you are angry, your mind zooms in on one painful moment and forgets the rest of your life. Gratitude reminds you that one bad scene is not the entire story. Second, gratitude interrupts the anger loop. Anger feeds on repetition. The more you replay an insult or injustice in your mind, the stronger it becomes. Gratitude breaks that cycle with softness and reflection. It slows the mind down and creates space between you and the emotion. Third, gratitude changes your brain chemistry. This is not spiritual imagination. This is neuroscience. Gratitude activates dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, chemicals responsible for calm, safety, and emotional balance. When you practice gratitude daily, your brain learns to calm itself faster. You literally reprogram how you respond to stress. This is why gratitude must become a habit, not an emergency tool. Start a gratitude journal. Every morning or every night, write 3 things you are thankful for. 3 people you are lucky to have. 1 small moment that made you smile today. It does not have to be big. If life feels heavy, be grateful for breath, for eyesight, for water, for shelter, for one person who checked on you. Something always exists. Use gratitude as a shield against anger. When anger rises, say this quietly to yourself: yes, this moment is difficult, but I still have much to be grateful for. This does not erase the problem. It simply lifts you above it. You are no longer trapped inside the fire. You are observing it from a higher place. Imagine your boss shouts at you. You go home boiling with anger. You want to quit. You want revenge. But instead, you sit quietly and remind yourself, I am grateful that I have a job. I am grateful that I have food tonight. I am grateful that I still have the power to change my life. And suddenly, the anger loosens its grip. Not because the situation became perfect, but because you refused to let it consume you. Anger screams, this is not enough. Gratitude whispers, this is still a gift. When gratitude becomes your daily practice, your mind becomes a place of peace. And in a place of peace, anger cannot survive. Now let us move to step 6, heal the hidden pain inside you. Have you ever noticed this? Someone says something small, and you explode. A tiny mistake happens, and your blood starts boiling. Later, you ask yourself, why did I react like that? It wasn't even that serious. This happens because most anger is not about the present moment. It is old pain waiting for a trigger. Every human being carries unresolved pain. Some people express it loudly. Some hide it quietly. But everyone carries something. Maybe you were never respected as a child. Maybe you were constantly compared to others. Maybe someone you trusted betrayed you. Maybe you failed once and never forgave yourself. Maybe you were ignored, insulted, or made to feel invisible. Maybe you always had to prove your worth, even to the people who were supposed to love you. That pain does not disappear just because time passes. It stays stored in the body and mind. And when the present touches the past, anger explodes. This is why healing is not optional if you want peace. Start by becoming honest with yourself. Ask gently, what does this anger remind me of? Not who caused it today, but where you first felt it. Sit with the answer. Do not judge it. Do not suppress it. Then give yourself what you never received, validation. Say to yourself, what I felt back then was real. My pain was real. And I am allowed to heal. If needed, write about it. Speak about it. Cry about it. Seek support. Healing is not weakness. Healing is courage. Understand this clearly, you are not overreacting. You are reacting to something old. And once you heal the root, the reaction loses its power. When the hidden pain heals, anger no longer needs to protect you. You become calm, not because life is easy, but because you are no longer bleeding inside. And that is the final truth. Anger is not your enemy. Unhealed pain is. Heal the pain, and anger naturally fades. This is how emotional strength is built. Slowly. Gently. Consciously. One pause, one breath, one grateful thought, and one healed wound at a time. Ask better questions, and you will get better emotions. When anger rises, your mind automatically asks questions. But most of the time, they are the wrong ones. Questions like, why does this always happen to me? Why are people so disrespectful? Why is life so unfair? These questions poison your perspective. And your brain, being loyal, rushes to answer them. It searches your memory for proof. It collects every past insult, every failure, every disappointment. And suddenly, one small moment feels like a lifetime of injustice. The anger multiplies. But here is the shift. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are a victim of your questions. So change them. When something triggers you, pause and ask, is this worth my peace? Not every argument deserves your energy. Peace is expensive. Protect it like gold. Ask, will this matter in 5 days? 5 months? 5 years? Most things that make you angry today will not even exist in your memory later. Zoom out. See the bigger picture. Ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? Every trigger carries information. Sometimes it teaches patience. Sometimes boundaries. Sometimes self-respect. Sometimes acceptance. Growth hides inside irritation. Ask, what response would my calmest self choose right now? Not your wounded self. Not your ego. But the version of you who has healed, who is wise, who values peace over winning. When you change the question, you change the answer. And when the answer changes, the emotion changes. Anger shrinks when awareness grows. And finally, understand this, emotional mastery is not about never feeling anger. It is about no longer being controlled by it. You will still feel irritation. You will still feel frustration. You will still feel pain. But it will pass through you, not possess you. You are not here to suppress emotions. You are here to outgrow them. The calmer you become, the less life needs to shout to get your attention. The more healed you are, the less reactive you become. One day, you will notice something strange and beautiful. The things that once made you explode no longer even move you. Not because you are numb, but because you are free. You cleaned the pain. You slowed the reaction. You changed the questions. And now there is nothing left to burn. This is not anger control. This is emotional maturity. Boundaries are not punishment. They are protection, for your time, your energy, and your peace. They are statements of self-respect, not threats. And here is the paradox: when you set boundaries calmly and consistently, relationships often improve. People know where you stand, confusion disappears. Respect grows. Your anger shrinks. Start small. Identify one area where you feel drained, taken for granted, or disrespected. Ask yourself, what is okay for me here? What is not okay? Speak up early. Use I statements, not accusations. Say, I feel uncomfortable when this happens. I need it to stop. Simple, clear, firm. Be prepared for resistance. People who benefited from your silence may push back. That is normal. Hold your line. Consistency is key. If you waver, the boundary loses power and you invite anger back into your life. Remember, anger thrives in helplessness. Boundaries remove helplessness. They prevent resentment. They create clarity. They give you control over your inner world. Set your boundaries. Protect your energy. Speak your truth. Not aggressively, but confidently. And when you do, notice something incredible: your anger begins to dissolve, your mind clears, and peace starts to feel natural. Step 9 is coming next: transform anger into action. This is where your energy becomes power, not destruction. Step 10: learn to observe, not absorb. Most people get angry because they absorb everything around them: the moods of others, words that sting, energy that feels heavy, opinions they don't agree with, workplace chaos, family drama, social media outrage. They let it enter their mind, take up space in their body, and dictate their emotions. That is optional. You do not have to absorb it. Observation is your superpower. You can notice what happens without letting it control you. You can see anger, frustration, or disrespect, and choose whether it deserves a reaction. You can watch the drama unfold, but you do not have to step inside it. Start small. When someone is rude or impatient, notice your rising irritation. Don't react immediately. Simply observe: this is happening. This is their energy. It is not mine. Label it. Give it distance. Breathe. Respond intentionally, or don't respond at all. You are not cold. You are aware. You are not indifferent. You are free. You are learning the art of selective absorption. Not everything requires your mind, your energy, or your anger. Over time, this skill transforms your life. You carry less unnecessary weight. You respond from choice, not habit. Anger no longer hijacks your body or your decisions. You live with clarity, calm, and focus. Observation is not avoidance. It is mastery. It is saying, I am not a victim of the chaos around me. I am the captain of my mind and heart. When you combine all 10 steps: pausing, breathing, letting go, gratitude, healing pain, asking better questions, setting boundaries, solution focus, and observing, you become unshakable. You don't just manage anger. You outgrow it. You transform it into wisdom, power, and peace. And that is emotional mastery in action. You were not created to be a sponge. You were created to be a filter, a calm, conscious observer. The absorber reacts: they said something rude. I'm upset. Their mood is bad. Now I feel heavy. This post made me angry. My whole day is ruined. The observer responds differently, I noticed what they said, but I won't carry it. They're projecting their pain. This isn't mine. I release it. Think of your mind like the sky. Thoughts, emotions, people, they are just clouds. Some dark, some fast, some heavy. But the sky does not hold them forever. They pass. Be the sky. Let storms move through without becoming the storm. When someone's words hurt, pause and ask, is this about me or them? Most often, it's them, their wounds, their triggers. Do not absorb their poison. When emotions rise, label them silently. I notice anger. I notice fear. I notice pain. This distance between you and the feeling is freedom. You are not inside the emotion, you are the witness. The most peaceful people are not cold, they are clear. They observe without absorbing, respond without reacting, and remain calm while the world shakes. This is not weakness, it is the highest form of mental strength. Be the observer. Let others carry their chaos. You carry your peace. Take a deep breath. Today, you didn't just watch another video, you stepped into a new level of yourself. You didn't learn to control anger, you learned to outgrow it. You are not here to be a slave to emotions. You are here to master your mind. Let the world act as it will. Let people speak as they speak. Let storms rise. But you will remain calm. Clear. In control. Anger does not give power. Control does. Peace does. Wisdom does. And now you have all three. From this moment forward, you will pause when the fire rises. You will breathe instead of breaking. You will let go of the past, heal your wounds, and ask better questions. You will choose boundaries over explosions. You will focus on solutions, not complaints. You will stop being the angry version of yourself and become the calmest, clearest, strongest version of who you were always meant to be. This version of you was always inside, waiting for your choice. Now you've chosen, and now you are free. If this message transformed the way you think, do 3 things. Like it to honor your future self, subscribe to Grow Weekly with us, and share it with someone who needs this wisdom. In the comments, write just one sentence, I choose peace. Let the world know who you've decided to become. Because once you make this choice, no one can make you angry again.